There's been some rumblings. Rumblings of a martial art totally dedicated to brutal close quarter fighting. Most importantly, rumbles of a martial art that I haven't tried
Just
before.
last one. One more. Just one more.
It's a martial art called
KEYSI fighting method.
KEYSI.
Yep.
Okay. I thought it was KEYSI. I figured like maybe it was like who's the dude from the Ninja Turtles, the one with the hockey sticks? Isn't he KEYSI?
I don't know. The word itself means from the heart. It's the nickname of the founder.
Oh, okay.
Why am I like this?
Yeah, we do a lot of training outside because that's the environment they're assuming you're going to be in.
Okay, cool. That's not scary at all.
This right here is Alan Baker. Slightly super terrifying. Today he's going to be our director of damage, if you will, our manager of mayhem, our liaison of laying people out.
If I were to pick something that was the center of the yard, I'd say it.
Actually, pause real quick. I want you to take a note of how good my hair looks right here. I'll wait. Right? Just wait to see how bad it slowly deteriorates.
Is the pensador, the thinking man. I teach two basic frames in the beginning. One is generally just stacking the hands on top of the head.
Okay.
And you'll put it in different positions depending on what I'm dealing with, what's coming into me. Shape two, I'll offset the hands like this.
Okay.
And I can move that around for the same reason, to try to protect my head as much as possible.
Okay.
In the beginning, it is a technique. That's
Yeah.
one of the unique things about KEYSI is that their goal is to make this a living thing.
Yeah.
Let's say you receive, we'll use a basic set, a straight one, absorb.
Okay.
If you receive it over here, you'll have to tilt right.
Okay.
You receive it over here, tilt.
Okay.
So that's the basic three.
Yep.
You know, we have a common response as human beings when we're startled to bring our hands up anyway. So it's built on top of that. I just want to be able, you know, to create something that I can use to either protect myself or deliver some damaging force. Nice, good. You have windows and doors. I can look out a different window and I can close them and move them depending on what is coming into me. Also on the offensive side, I'll form weapons, elbows. Good. Wing in, wing out, right.
Definitely sturdier than any other guard.
And I don't know if you could feel this right here, but the feeling that Alan gives you when he's looking at you,
Oh, jeez. I do not like that.
it's like the opposite of a good first date. No butterflies over here. Scorpions. I feel like there's scorpions in my stomach.
So the difference is I'm not I'm not going to win, I'm not going to survive.
Yeah.
We want to change that to I do have options.
Right.
I have methods, I've trained this.
Yeah.
And if they are not used to it, they receive. That'll be next. Pull them out. Hiya. Right. Yes. Good. Right. Nice. Good.
Feels empowering too, to be honest.
I guess it's for the best that I felt that way, but I don't know how you can when you look like this. Oh man, that's crazy. You know what's worse though? My hair. Whenever I try one of these styles, I try to think, how and when would I actually use this? And to be honest, the situation came up pretty quick, but it's something I'd already done. The Ultimate Self-Defense Championship. 5 days of fighting challenges, and the situation I was thinking of was a fight in a hallway with the guy who put it together, Rokas. And I found myself throwing some tasty elbows, and in the midst of those elbows though, I got caught. But if I had thrown elbows from the same position they do in KEYSI, I might not have got caught by this left hand here.
Wing in, wing out, right. Good.
Whoa.
Very nice.
That's pretty cool. I like that. Terrible for hair.
Yeah.
Terrible for the hairstyle.
Yeah, you
Like,
get
I can
that
just
fixed.
feel myself.
Fix that up later.
Yeah, I probably should have used mousse this morning.
Funny enough, it was maybe 2 minutes later before Alan gave us another gem that I could have used in that same challenge.
So one other tool that the system does is the ram attack. To me, it's one of the more powerful ones. So if you build that structure, you're going to use this to violently occupy my space. I should be 10 feet over there after you've done this. So you'll bump me with your forearms, right? as opposed to what you would probably
Use
do.
the elbow,
right.
yeah.
So if you're doing
That's
that,
nasty.
give me a good bump.
This right here is when I learned what life Alan Baker is about.
A little more.
But I'm laying these in
Right.
pretty hard.
Oh, that's the ram attack.
I like that.
And he's smiling at me.
You're very sturdy.
So while I don't think it works on Alan Bakers, I don't think many people are Alan Bakers. So
I've done this before without knowing that. And I hit a side kick on a guy. And he hits the wall. And I was like, kind of too far for me to do anything else. I just went, and I just put my forehead straight into his chin. It was a good time. But
Good weapon.
I could have done this and saved my head a little bit.
aside from just the interesting guard, which is probably my favorite part about the fighting method, they very often train out of very precarious
One of the main things that the system will study is how to develop mechanics on multiple surfaces. I want to get comfortable moving on the wall
Okay.
and learning how to use it.
Okay.
Could be a chair, could be a booth. But I'm going to start to look for options, right? To attack that guy. You okay, coach?
I'm good.
All right.
Do you ask everybody if they're okay?
Same idea as you know that's going to happen, so right. But now you have these tools. This is not good for me. Right. You've got another one there. Got that wing. Right. I've accidentally stepped in a bad spot here.
Yeah.
You have that wing knee. Correct.
Okay.
Which opens up an option for you.
Yeah.
Right.
I really wish that I looked cooler doing all this. I'm not even talking about my hair anymore. It seems intuitive that you would be in this position with your hands on your head and your elbows ready to fly, and it would just happen.
Clear.
Clear. Okay. This. Okay. Yeah.
For me, it's like a party with no ladies.
Feel it? Right.
It's not happening. Now, along with this, we also went over some of the movement in this stance, along with the punches that come from it. But if you want 50 minutes of uncut footage from this day, become a Yellow Belt channel member down below. It's $2.99 a month, and anytime I do a video like this, you guys get all of the footage. And it supports the channel, so that's cool.
So just talking to them, it's very clear. They think about all kinds of stuff when it comes to self-defense. So if I were to like open the door and I come in, I'm trying to do something. Oh, I'm afraid to like come in too hot.
You put me in the V.
Yeah, right.
I've got to know how. I've got to know how to deal with that from here.
Were you just going? Did you like think I'm gonna do this, this, and this?
No, it's just that, which is the goal of the system, is to just make it a living thing. Obviously, I'm surprised the punch came in, so I've got to protect myself as much as possible.
Right.
But then you're open, and I can choose to stay, which gives me options.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If I had to guess, you also probably have stuff in there that would make you want to not leave. It's interesting too. You didn't just grab shirt.
Correct.
You were like, I'm gonna grab
And then
flesh.
I might end up in the same position
kind
we
of a
did earlier,
purple.
which is on the wall. So I want to know how to fight from here.
Yeah, right. This is what Mr. Miyagi did.
Did he?
Yeah, in the beginning of the second movie. Do you remember that? Where he punches at him? He punches him and he goes, and it breaks in the glass. Yeah. And then they take like one step over conveniently and he punches at him again, he breaks the glass again. Excuse me, I'm just gonna.
So a common tool would just be that idea, right?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've already made a mistake, which is a very common mistake. Hammer fist that thing, right? Right. Elbow it.
Ooh.
People attach.
Yeah,
to
you never think. Kick that open. Oh.
Right. You've got the same attacks on my arm. Right. Right. And then you could choose to stay or exit.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right. Have a nice day.
Certain striking martial arts where you're really elongated can feel vulnerable at times. This doesn't ever feel vulnerable. It always feels like if I miss, I'm still blocking.
Right.
If it hits me, I'm like sturdy here.
And the more I look at this fighting style, the more I kept thinking how this is useful even if your eyes are closed. And it turns out, that's no coincidence.
Well, it's originally out of a town in Spain, Valencia.
Okay.
And the founder's name is Justo Dieguez.
Okay.
He had a rough childhood. He was made to work in the mines in that area at a very young age. And due to being young, small, he ended up being on the bad end of a lot of fights. A lot of people picked on him in the mines.
In the mines specifically.
Right.
Interesting.
And it ended up being a common thing, a daily thing, that he'd end up on the ground in a fetal position, just receiving from 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
They just beat him up. And it happened so much, it's just crazy to think about, that he got used to it.
Yeah.
He started, he knew it was coming every day, so he started working on being able to protect himself so he'd survive it.
Yeah.
And that's where the original structure came from, which is just being in a fetal position on the ground. So after that, he started coming up with ways that he could potentially attack his attackers. And he started looking at ideas to fight from that position.
Yeah.
And obviously, one of them we talked about today, if I open up to the door to the house,
Right.
they come in.
There.
So he originally started just developing elbows, those sort of type of things, knees.
Yeah.
And he did so much research. This is amazing too for someone that age. He used to go home and get under the kitchen table and play on the table legs under the table.
Wow.
With the concepts and ideas that he came up with.
Yeah.
And that's how it grew. It grew from there.
Being able to turn your brain off and throw these things based off of what's given to you, it takes a lot of reps, and I don't have that yet. In fact, I don't even really feel comfortable in the guard yet.
But I think if I was punching somebody and they were blocking it and it was hurting my hands and they were looking at me like that, I think I would honestly think twice.
That is a big portion of the system.
Okay.
Is developing the predatorial mindset. What are the postures behind it? What are the breath patterns behind it?
Yeah.
How does the body build itself? And it's a switch.
Sure.
You know, it might not be something you use all the time, but in a scenario,
Somebody
a couple
bumps
of
into you in a
guys
grocery store.
in an alleyway.
Yeah. The stuff that I've done where it's like multiple people versus one, it's very easy to feel debilitated in how you're allowed to strike because of those openings.
Yes.
But how do you train to know what the feeling of all this is like?
They have a concept called the 4-man box. And you know, we haven't trained the full body.
No,
So
I was gonna say.
what we're gonna do is good straight shots, just like you'd throw a punch.
Okay.
Right. Sometimes we'll challenge that window in front, right? See, it's a different environment.
It's very different.
Right. Breathing, looking. Okay, then we'll break. Now I'll add the third element.
Okay.
And he's got to clear the hands.
Do something. Okay.
Take them off.
Okay.
And move me.
Okay.
So you guys give him a little attention. He works on the puzzle. Right. Good. That's it. Ram attack. Yeah, hit him. Good.
That's nerve-wracking.
Right.
That's crazy.
And that's one of the reasons for the drill. This is an extension of the 4-man box or the predator drill.
Yeah, that's a very real possibility that 3 people are.
Could be. And the purpose of the drill is get you used to the environment.
Yeah.
And get you used to it to the point where you can think.
Yeah.
Is it a good place to be?
Hard.
Yo, jeez, yep.
Right. Good.
Yeah, that's really nerve-wracking. Even though we've got mitts and I know nobody's trying to hurt me,
Yeah.
it's still enough to make my brain start to be like,
Right. And your optics will get better. Your ability to breathe will improve.
Yeah.
And then we'll start delivering specific techniques from the system.
Right.
How do I do this? How do I survive? Over the course of time in a class, you'll work to the point where this is your home.
Yeah.
Chaos is where you live.
Which is probably the coolest thing anybody's ever said on my channel. There's a lot that I like about this fighting style. I'm a big fan of the guard, first and foremost. That gritty aggression that they have is also incredibly important. Anytime that you can drill being punched and working on your flinch responses, along with strikes that are mostly gross motor movement, a lot of rotational force, that kind of stuff is going to be very useful when you don't know what's happening. It's not like really fine detail strikes that have to be in the perfect spot. You're throwing bows, you're rotating your entire body, you're generating force, you're staring into someone's soul, and you're trying to put a hole in them. All while keeping a pretty sturdy and sound defensive posture. Also, I stop saying it looks like I'm wearing a wig. I'm not. This is my hair.
Sir, I just wipe. I'm sorry. I wipe my head. And
Dude, that's what we do.
We sweat all over each other. Perfect. Hey, check out more about him down below. I'll be right down there. Thank you guys. Actually,
Yeah, ram attack it.